This week on Supercars Talk, I preview the Century Batteries Ipswich Super Sprint. Once again, this weekend, the Supercars are up in sunny Queensland at the Paperclip. But before I actually preview the round, I've got a couple of news items to cover off first. We've had a couple of signings for the Pertec Enduro Cup. A couple of the only seats kind of left, and these were a little bit of a question mark seats. Obviously, the Techno seat's still not signed, but good chance it's going to be John O'Webb again. I mean, they've got money problems and that there. Why would you sign a driver when the team owner can do the job? But as we all thought, Dean Canto's been signed to drive with Macaulay Jones. This was kind of on the cards since Canto did the co-driver session at Winton, it would have been, I think, in that car. Good for Macaulay to have someone like that next to him. Dean's been around the block a long time, has a lot of experience, could pass on a lot of knowledge. That's great there. And of course, they confirmed that Blanchard was going to be with Percat. And once again, Ash Walsh is teaming up with Tim Slade there in the 3 BJR cars. The other signing, bit BJR related too, is Jack Smith. He's signed on with Matt Stone Racing. Interesting one there. Possibly could be a driver for next year. Jack Smith has done quite a few of the wildcard races this year. The only one he missed out on was Barbagallo when Tim Blanchard took over that car for the round. It's no secret that Jack Smith's family's, they're from the SCT Fortune, that the logistics company that's on the side of the car. No secret, MSR needs funds. They've kind of said that, if Todd Hazelwood has an offer somewhere else, might be a good chance to look at it. So just putting 2 and 2 together here and getting 5, but I think this might be a bit of an audition for the seat for next year. So we'll see what happens with that. Now for this weekend, the Richie Stanaway saga. He's out again by the looks because Michael Caruso is taking his seat again. That'll be Michael Caruso's only allowed to do 2 rounds before he's ineligible to be partaking in the Pertec Enduro Cup. Now, quite a few people are saying about him taking over for the rest of the year. I'm in 2 minds about this. I mean, yeah, it could potentially be a full-time drive, but then again, you're stepping in with Cam Waters in the Enduros. If I was him, I'd maybe be saying, look, Gary, if you want me full-time, let's talk about next year. I've signed on with Tickford. I want to do the Enduros with Cam Waters because there's a good chance they're going to get a good result. So at this stage of Michael's career, I mean, really he's probably going to be looking at pedalling around the back of the field in the GRM car. Could potentially be right at the front. This could be his best chance, for an endurance win. They'll be within a shot of taking out any of the 4 endurance races. So, could be a good opportunity to put one of those and, kind of say to Gary, look, let's talk next year. I'll do the full season and that, get to know the car properly rather than, he's been thrown in a bit in the deep end this year. If he doesn't have a great result, like last weekend and this weekend, if the results aren't there, he's stepped in at the last minute and had a go. He's trying to help. If he's there for the rest of the season and the results aren't there, it does a lot of harm for his reputation. There was also a test down at Queensland Raceway last week. We saw the Penske 888 and the Matt Stone Racing car there. There were some Super 2 guys running around as well, so Super 2 racing this weekend too. They're out there testing, so whether that's going to be an advantage on the day or not, you'd have to think though testing kind of, about a week and a half before the actual event is going to help them. Probably two of the teams that need the least help at the moment, although, Triple Eight hasn't had the best year. They've they're definitely still up the front. We've got what are they? Third and sixth in the championship. They're not too bad, but for them it's terrible. And I suppose the other big news is what's happening with Percat's livery. Still don't have any news on that. It's a late one this time, so we'll see. Hopefully it's a good one. For this weekend, we're back to a more normal kind of weekend. Friday, we see 2 practice sessions. On both Saturday and Sunday, we have practice session in the morning that forms the first part of the knockout qualifying. Then, of course, we have the knockout qualifying. Saturday, race 19, going to be 39 laps. And then on Sunday, race 20, 65 laps. All pretty straightforward. Queensland's an odd one. The track gets a lot of stick for being the paperclip, being a very boring layout. We have seen some really good races here in the past. We've also seen some very boring races in the past. Let's hope that a certain Scott McLaughlin doesn't get out to a big lead early on and, then everyone kind of stretches out. Let's hope there's some nice close racing to keep us entertained over the weekend. So looking at the results from last year, bit of an idea on form guide. On the Saturday, we saw Scott McLaughlin win from Shane Van Gisbergen. Craig Lowndes was third. And then we had Whincup and Fabian. So, all from the same team. On the Sunday, we reversed the top 2. And then Chaz Mostert got in on the party, but then Whincup was fourth again and Fabian 5th. So going off the form guide, and they've had their test there last week, Chaz might be the only one kind of looking in there, having a bit of a knock on the door, and pretty much I think it's going to be a Penske party with Triple Eight probably just behind, and once again Chaz and Dave Reynolds probably knocking on the door as well. So for this week, there's one other little news item I want to cover off before I let you go. Apparently TCR's been looking at doing something at the Adelaide 500 with supercars for next year, and apparently supercars have said no. And a lot of fans seem to be a bit up in arms about this. Now, I'm a bit on the fence. I mean, I've watched TCR. It's okay. It's a bit of a novelty thing at the moment. Yeah. Is it going to take over supercars here? I don't think so. The big thing is, yes, you've got some younger guys kind of coming up. Some of the stars of the future that are using it as a stepping stone. You've got some guys who are kind of co-drivers that getting their miles up, like your James Moffats and Tony Albertos. And then you've got some guys who are a bit past it and, keeping themselves in the seat a bit for a bit of fun. Someone like Jason Bright, Russell Ingall was out there last time. It's not kind of, I can't see it at the moment being the series that, these young blokes are aiming for. Like Will Brown out there, he's using it kind of as a stepping stone to get a main game supercars drive. Anyway, what a lot of people are saying is supercars should have them there because, it'd be great for the fans and all that. Well, there is already a few support categories there, so someone else has to be kicked out of the way for TCR to come in. And also, although TCR isn't saying they're trying to take on supercars, that's what they're trying to do. Someone's bankrolling a lot of money behind this, so obviously the goal is to be at the top. And why would you give your biggest competitor a free kick and putting them on a big stage like that? It's a bit like when Supercars kind of shafted the 12-hour a few years ago. Now Supercars runs the 12-hour. So, if you can kind of, I can't see them working with TCR in the near future. Maybe, who knows what will happen. Could have a big divide like, the American IndyCar kart war kind of thing years ago. But at the moment, I can't see, supercars trying to help out TCR, and I can't see them wanting to say like, hey, yeah, come and play in our big background and, have all this free kind of TV and things like that. And that is another issue with it as well, because you know TCR's got this great TV deal with SBS that's, you know, it's nowhere near the quality of supercars. It's probably not as good as what we used to have back in the early 90s with Channel 7. But, you know, people are saying, oh, this is great because it's on free to air. Yeah, essentially, you can still watch supercars on free to air as well. So I'm not getting that argument that, oh, I can't see supercars on TV. Well, yeah, it's just delayed. It's not live. There's TCR things live, but, you know, with ad breaks and stuff, do you really want to watch it live? So I think we kind of know where I'm sitting at it. Supercars, just say no to them, you know, don't bother yourselves, let them be the standalone thing, let whoever's bankrolling it, you know, sort it out themselves. So that's my preview for the Century Batteries Ipswich Super Sprint.
Put away your inhibitions, let the beast in you just get loose. We all young, wild, and